The flickering shadows of the cabin danced with the deep, resonant sounds of the wilderness pressing in. Outside, the night had swallowed the world whole, painting it in impenetrable blacks and icy, bruised blues. Elias's steady, rhythmic breathing was a comforting counterpoint to Veronica's own, a quiet anchor in the profound silence. A tallow candle on the bedside table cast nervous, shifting figures across the rough-hewn log walls, its meager light struggling against the oppressive darkness. In the hearth, a solitary ember sighed and popped, sending a tiny shower of sparks up the chimney. Each crackle of the shrinking fire felt magnified, a testament to the persistent cold that seeped through every chink and crack of their isolated dwelling. Yet it wasn't the biting cold that had dragged Veronica from her fitful sleep. It was a hunger unlike anything she had ever known. This wasn't the familiar emptiness of a missed meal. This was a deeper, more primal craving that twisted her stomach and sent a strange thrumming through her veins. It felt less like a need for sustenance and more like an insistent, internal demand for something undefined, something she couldn't articulate or even fully comprehend. It was the whispers of hunger, echoing not from her stomach, but from something far more ancient, stirring within her. Carefully she shifted, mindful of Elias beside her. His face, softened by sleep, looked weary even in the dim light. Her gentle movement roused him slightly, a soft murmur escaping his lips before he settled back into slumber. Veronica eased herself from the warmth of the bed, her bare feet meeting the shockingly cold wood floor. A shiver coursed through her, but the strange hunger overshadowed it, pulling her forward with an undeniable force. She found her wool robe on the peg by the door, wrapping its heavy folds around her pregnant frame. The cabin felt vast and unfamiliar in the dimness, imbued with an oppressive stillness. Drawn by an invisible pull, she moved towards the single window. Outside, the world was a canvas of inky black, save for the faint, ethereal glow of a distant sliver moon, peeking through scattered clouds, casting the snow-dusted tree line in ghostly relief. The air itself seemed to hum with the echoing noises of the earth. A long, mournful howl ripped through the night, the sound of a lone wolf crying to its pack, or perhaps to the indifferent moon. Elias had taught her to respect that sound, a testament to the raw, untamed nature of the wilderness that surrounded them. But tonight, it felt different. It was primal, yes, but it carried an unsettling resonance, as if the very ground beneath her feet was murmuring in response. The forest was alive with unseen things, a deep, pervasive hum of life and death, predator and prey. Veronica pressed her hand against her belly, the baby stirring in response, a frantic flutter that felt like tiny, eager wings beating against her skin. The inexplicable craving intensified, a relentless, burning void that seemed to demand satisfaction. She knew with a sudden, chilling certainty that the source of this new hunger wasn't in her stomach, but in the life growing within her. As she stared out into the vast, indifferent darkness, listening to the ancient sounds of the night, a profound terror, cold as the winter itself, began to bloom in her heart. A new sense had awakened within her since becoming pregnant. It wasn't just her sense of smell sharpening, though that was undeniable. It was as if a veil had been lifted, allowing her to perceive the world in a more visceral, almost animalistic way. She could now distinctly hear the steady, strong pulse of Elias's heart, a deep, rhythmic thump, thump, thump that pulled at her, an irresistible draw. The sound was a magnet, drawing her back to the bed where he lay sleeping, oblivious. The scent of him, too, was incredibly potent in the still air, Not just the familiar scent of wood smoke and honest labor, but something deeper, more elemental. She could distinguish the faint, earthy aroma of fresh-turned earth clinging to his clothes, a subtle metallic hint of his sweat, and most potently, the warm, living scent of his flesh, exhaled with every soft, even breath. It was a raw, captivating smell, laced with the subtle sweetness of a dream-filled sleep. This heightened awareness of him, his very essence, felt both comforting and, disturbingly, like a hunger in itself. The whispers of hunger now had a scent and a beat, drawing her closer to the only other living human in this isolated world. The relentless thump-thump-thump of Elias's heart, a steady drum against the pervasive silence, became an almost unbearable draw. Thank you for watching a small introduction to Melissa Holt's upcoming book, Cradle Invasion Dead Babies. Look for it on DVD, in bookstores and on shelves, and streaming movie in 2026.